Here we are back in London. I'm delighted to be with Mr. John Lodge. You are officially a prog god now.
Oh, well.
You're more than just a singer in a rock and roll band.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it was a great thing to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. I couldn't believe it. Amazing, out of the blue, but thank you to everyone at Progressive Rock Magazine. Fabulous.
And it's been a long journey. Now you're a bona fide solo artist in the last couple of years. It's taken a while.
Yeah, I mean, I am a Moody Blue, always will be a Moody Blue. But vinyl records turned up again a few years ago, and I thought I really want to be part of that. And that's how I decided to carry on with a John Lodge career. As the Moody's, we haven't recorded an album for, 12 years, I think. And but I want to record. And it just appeared to me to be the right thing to do, the right time, especially vinyl, 180 gram, and a double sleeve, and of course CDs as well. Nice little booklets, everything else. I get excited about music, what can I say?
And there was a big gap between your first solo album in the 70s, but it was like a 38-year gap until, was it 10,000 Years came out?
Yeah.
In about four years or so ago.
Yeah, I recorded the album Natural Avenue in the mid-70s, and I was going to go on the road with it, but we got together to make a Moody Blues album, and so I never ever got on the road, and it was one of the things I was really upset about, because it's really important, I think, when you write a song, record a song, then you want to complete the circle, getting on stage and performing. And but then we did Octave album, then we did a host of Moody Blues albums, a host of Moody Blues touring, and I never got round to it, carried on with any solo work. As I say, 10,000 light years ago, I already had the name of the album in my head. I knew I wanted to do this album called 10,000 light years ago, about not looking back, always looking forward. I recorded that album, and things just sort of kept going. Touring came along, people said, well, you've got to tour with it. And so I was touring with it, did the Birmingham Symphony Hall this year, Dogen Hall in London. I've just finished the 30-city tour of America with Yes and Asia. So I'm having a great time, and we're back in the studio. There was a movie called Private Lives was released last year.
Okay.
And the movie got some great recognition. But in the movie there was a song of mine called Say You Love Me from the Natural Avenue album. And when I heard it in the movie, I thought, I'm going to revisit that song. And I listened to the song, I thought, I'd really like to remix that song as though I'd written it today in a 2019 mix. The mixes are different today. And I found the original 24 tracks, went in and baked them, because if you'd have played the 24 tracks for once, the oxide would have come off and probably lost the music forever. Digitised them. I went in the studio in Los Angeles and remixed the Say You Love Me, and then I also remixed a song called Summer Breeze, Summer Song, because for me there's an incredible sax solo on there by a guy called Jimmy Jewell, who did all the Joan Armatrading. And it's a great sax solo, and I thought, record that again as a remix that, 2019. I wanted the original songs because of the commitment and the emotion the original musicians performed on that for me. The drums, Kenny Jones on drums, just played fabulous drums on that album. Chris Beddy, wonderful guitar. So
he goes back all the way to your first solo album as well, doesn't
absolutely,
he?
yeah.
It's great continuity there.
Continuity, yeah. So I'm really, the album Beyond, and you've just shown me a copy of it for the first time.
Let's show it at the camera, because we need to see it in its... is that a Roger Dean special?
Roger Dean did the artwork. Actually, if when you look at the artwork, You just got to keep blowing it up, and you can see underneath the spheres, there's a town, there's gardens and bridges, and it's the idea of, a township really on Mars or any other planet.
It's not the mythical town of Erdington, is it, by any chance?
It could be Erdington, Birmingham. Yeah, look, there it is in the inside as well. There.
Beautiful. And let's touch a little bit on your background, going back to Birmingham. Because I noticed that, and I saw Justin play a solo set recently. One of the songs he does, a new song, is called something like the Western Skies, which is an ode to the Wiltshire countryside. And on your last album, you had an ode to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And he was always kind of like the country's ethereal, folky guy. And you've always been kind of the rock guy in the leather pants in the band.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wrote the song, those days in Birmingham. He was talking about, when I was in my first bandwagon, we had an Austin J2. As long as it worked, you could get to the gigs, So I talked about those times, talked about the times seeing the Fender Precision bass in the window of Jack Woodruff, which was the best music instrument shop in Birmingham in those days, and buying that bass, it was just amazing. But I went to a grammar school, Central Grammar School, past the 11 plus. Much to all my friends, they couldn't believe it, but there you go. But I went to Central Grammar School, and in the lunchtime, there was a cafe called Eddie's Cafe. Mm-hmm. And every lunchtime I'd go there with my dinner money, as it was called, because dinner was at lunchtime. Right? Yeah, not lunchtime.
Suppers in the evening.
Lunch was actually 11 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, but they had a rock holder jukebox there in this cafe, and I used to put my threepenny bit in, and I'd play songs like Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, Fast Domino, and I was absolutely fascinated by the boogie part of the records, and I realised for me that was the part that really excited me. It wasn't the lead guitar parts or even the vocal part, really. It was just that energy behind rock and roll. And when I got my first bass, my Fender, I spent every waking minute trying to replicate or try to understand all those boogie parts they were playing, and then play them on bass.
And that's a bass you still play live, right?
Well, I don't play it live. I play actually I play a replica jazz bass from the 60s, which Fender built for me because it's a longer neck and there's lots of little refinements on it. But for recording, nearly every Moody Blues song I've recorded on my original Fender Precision bass, and my new album Beyond, I use the album that bass.
So that's been your constant source of inspiration. You sit down with that, and then the magic comes out.
Something happens every time I pick that bass up. It seems to play itself, you know. And I think it was from the early days, spending all the time in my bedroom, trying to figuring it out, and trying to become one with the bass, so that I don't know what happened, but it feels as though the bass understood what I'm trying to do.
And your links with Birmingham was sort of like permeated over your career. But what I found really interesting is earlier on you were producing Glenn Hughes in Entropies. I think it was the first two albums, including Medusa, which is a classic.
I've met Tony Perry, who was the manager, still is actually, I think, of Trapeze, and he sent me some demo tapes, and I listened to them, and I really liked the demo tapes. So I went up to Birmingham, met them, everybody, and went in the studio and recorded the first Trapeze album, and Send Me No More Letters was a hit single for them, I think, particularly in Europe. And then I went to record the next album with them, and Tony said, "John, two of the guys have left, it's just a three-piece." I said, "Well, it doesn't matter, because Glenn is Glenn, Mel, Dave Holland," and went in the studio and recorded what I think has become one of the Britain's most classic rock albums, Entropies, Medusa, and I know Glenn's re-recorded again with his new band with Bonham on drums.
Oh, Black Country Communion.
Black
That's
Country,
right. Yes.
Yeah, and but it was a great song, and the album is a great album, and it still stands up today.
And if I'm right, there's now a Walk of Fame in Birmingham, and you got inducted at the same time as Carl Palmer.
Yeah. It's been a great year. I got inducted on the Walk of Fame this year. Did a concert at the Birmingham Symphony Hall. Jasper Carrott did the comparing. It was great fun. Jasper's a great mate, and Carl, and it was great because Carl and I ended up on this Royal Affair tour across America with Yes and Asia. We did 30 cities across America. Fantastic tour. Absolutely brilliant, and I've had a great time. And
the most recent tours you did, and we saw you at the Dogen Hall, was captured on a really, really good DVD, reflecting the set list, and with a great mixture of songs going way back. There's the Blue Jays song, you
Saved by the Music, yeah.
And then the whole set is topped and tailed by by your two classic songs, so Stepping the Slide Zone, and then when you finish on it at the end with Ride a Seesaw.
Ride My Seesaw at the end, and I had John Davison from Yes came and joined me on stage for the encore. Great fun. Yeah, it was really good. Had a great time, and I've got these band of musicians who are touring with me now. Alan Hewitt, who was with the Moody Blues for like 15 years, my keyboard player and musical director, I have to say that, Alan. And the drummer, Billy Ashbrook, he was with us in the Moody as well for like 5, doubling up with Graeme on drums.
Yeah.
And then I've got Duffy King on guitar from Detroit, and Jason Sharpener on cello. And he's from Detroit Symphony Orchestra. So we've got a great touring band, and I'm just having a great time.
And you've got accustomed to life on the ocean wave. I mean, there was the Moody's cruise that ran successfully for quite a few years, and that's kind of evolved into this more general blue cruise. And then you've got the one that you just mentioned as well as the cruise to the edge.
I've been doing Cruise to the Edge. 2 of those. I had a great time. Cruise to the Edge with Yes again, and but next year I'm going out to Miami on a new cruise. New cruise for me. It's called Rock and Romance.
Oh, I read about that.
And
yes.
I'm with Don Felder. Don I know really well. We played golf together quite a few times.
I'm seeing him later this week.
Are you?
He's playing in Shepherd's Bush.
Oh well, say hi to him for me. I'm away, unfortunately, so I'd go and see Don Felder, America, Cheap Trick, and we're going out of Miami down the eastern seaboard of the Caribbean
So
for a
terrible.
week. I know, 7 days of yo-ho-hee-ho.
Wouldn't you rather tour on the Birmingham canals?
Actually, I love the Birmingham canals. At the Symphony Hall was great because the hotel I was staying at was looking over the canals and all the refurbished
beautiful now.
terraced houses. And it was like looking at Peaky Blinders. Wonderful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun because I remember looking it up, being intrigued that you went to the technical college that came my university. I went to Aston University.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I went there the very first year it opened, and it was wonderful because they had the lifts in there that went over the top.
Oh, the paternoster thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember,
we used to sneak onto them.
Yeah, well, I remember we were all going there saying, "What happens when it gets to the top? Do you want to fall over?" And I remember, who was going to be first to try it. But I went there for Aston College of Advanced Technology, I think, called, and became Aston University. I think if I stayed another year, it would have gone from higher national certificate to a degree, which they gave everyone afterwards.
Because it was about the time that you joined the band, wasn't it? When you were finishing your studies and people waiting for you to leave so you could join the band after Denny Lang left.
Yeah, I did 2 years and finished the course, really pleased, got the certificate.
Yeah.
Just like the Wizard of Oz, Tin Man and the Lion Man. And, yeah, it was great. I finished the college and Ray Thomas rang me up. Ray Thomas and I had worked together since I was 15. We had a band called El Wyatt and the Rebels, and we used to wear Mexican outfits. Great time, great time. Even sombrero hats from Dunn's in Birmingham. Anybody from Birmingham may remember Dunn's, the hattery people. And then Ray rang me and said, "Hey John, have you finished college yet?" And I said, "Well, I've just finished." He said, "Well, get down to London. Denny Lane has left, and let's get the old band back together."
It's time for you to go now.
Yeah, that's right. So I went down, and that June of 1966.
And what's great about both the DVD and the set you played is you include Ray and Mike's songs within the set, and I think they both played on the 10,000 Light Years album.
Yeah, I'd written a song for my grandson actually called "Simply Magic," and when I made the demo, I suddenly thought, "Oh, this would be fantastic for Ray to play flute on." So Ray lived around the corner from me, just about 2 miles away, and we've been in touch all the while. And Ray was using my same doctor as I was and everything. So I rang Ray up. I said, "Ray, would you come and play flute on this track? I've written this track." And I went round to the house, sang the song to him. He got his flute out, and we went into the studio to record it. Had a great time. And then Ray said to me, "Do you know, why don't you ask Mike to play mellotron?" So I rang Mike up in America, because Mike lives in California, and Mike recorded the mellotron, and it sort of completed the circle for me to have Ray and Mike back in the studio with me on a song called "Simply Magic."
And it certainly was. So we'll finish off just getting into the album, but I did want to ask, I know people will be interested, you did a big tour, which is kind of an ongoing anniversary, 50th anniversary tour of Days of Future Past, and then Graeme has kind of announced he's stepping back from playing live. The mood is done, you think, as a live act?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm a Moody Blue, always will be a Moody Blue, and I really enjoy playing Moody Blues music. And so I would always do a tour with the Moody's, I'll always do a concert. But it's get the other guys, the other two guys, to commit to it, They have to commit to it because it's a commitment, not something just to turn up for.
So, moving up to present, you've got this great new album, which is, and it's not all the obvious songs. The Beyond it goes back to some of the well-known songs, as you said, remixed, re-recorded. But it's a really good and sonically well-matched set of songs.
Thank you very much. I wanted to put the album together as though it was an album of brand new songs. How would I put an album together of songs? And I've been doing a song of Days of Future Past called Evening Time to Get Away. And of the original album, Days of Future Past, it was on side 2. And it was on the first albums, it actually didn't get a name check. And
yeah.
it was sort of lost in the mist, really. And I started doing it on stage. I thought I'd really like to re-record this as 2019. So that was one of the songs I recorded for the album, Evening Time to Get Away. And there's a couple of live songs on there, like Singer in a Rock and Roll Band.
Yeah.
I did that because of the Buddy Holly. I recorded those in Birmingham, at the Birmingham Town Hall. And that's where I started seeing all the iconic American rock guys. And I really wanted to, and then I saw, Buddy Holly was my hero. And I saw Buddy Holly there. And I really wanted to stand it on the stage, look up at a young Johnny Lodger in that front row, looking down at Buddy Holly. And I thought, yeah, I should put that song on. I'm just a singer at a rock and roll band. Start the album with that song because that's who I am, really.
Yeah. And there's another 50th anniversary, and I wanted to call you out on this. In '69, you wrote a song called "Send Me No Wine."
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's kind of the 50th anniversary of that. I think I was on Threshold of a Dream, and now you are big in wine. So what caused the change in your attitude towards wine? And tell us about what you've got going on in the wine business.
Yeah, it's really. I've always been fascinated with wine. It actually, and in the early '80s, I was invited down to Burgundy, and I eventually became a chevalier of Tastavan in Burgundy. I really enjoy. It's not the wine so much, it's the whole, the vineyard, where vineyards are. They always seem to be in fantastic places. Burgundy's beautiful, Bordeaux's beautiful. But when I went to California for the first time, up in Napa, I really fell in love with that area. And I met someone who's a winemaker, and we made our first wine together called krisemma. And then I made a wine in Bordeaux, still called krisemma, different labels, and then I made a wine in South Africa called krisemma again, Chardonnay, and my daughter Emily, who manages me, she runs that part of it anyway. And lo and behold, we actually won the best Chardonnay out of the International Award, the best Chardonnay out of Africa. Couldn't believe it. And but it's been really nice. It's been something. What I've been able to do as well is do like a wine and music event. I've done one on the River Thames, chartered a boat and had a whole load of people come along, play acoustic sets and just taste the wine and just have a nice social event, you know, just not just a concert. And I did one at Hampton Court, which was great fun because a lot of people turned up in Tudor costumes, sitting in the gardens at Hampton Court, playing live music, and krisemma wine. The name was from Christian, my son, and Emily, my daughter. So I'll put the two together, krisemma.
So is there a prospect of a new song called "Send Me More Wine"?
Good idea. Perhaps I should do that.
John, it's been great talking to you, and just to remind everyone that the new album Beyond, the very best of John Lodge, is out on BMG on the 27th of September, so not long to wait.
Not long to wait. And I think the actual vinyl, the 180 gram, we've got the full, you know, got all the full artwork by
you have to do it with Roger Dean artwork.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
Brilliant. But I think that's released a week earlier on the 20th. So 20th.
So check out John online, and look forward to hearing that and seeing you back again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All the best. Cheers.